Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Road to Glory Master Ball rank. I hope you're all doing fantastic today. I'm doing okay. As you can see, we got reset completely because it is actually a new season. So it is season 7, so we're back at a new tier. So that means that we do get to make some changes to our team. So let's hop right into our team selection. As you can see, we have got the Iron Bundle, the Amoonguss, the Tinkaton, the Dragonite, the Chi-Yu, and the Volcarona. About 3 or 4 of these have already been used in this series, but I thought it would be fun to, maybe add two or three more new additions. So let's see how we do with them. So as you can see, our opponent has a Shenpao, a Garchomp, a whatever that is, an iron something, a Roshen, a Tinkaton of their own, and a Goldengo. We decide to start off with the Life Orbed Volcarona, followed up by the Choice Scarf Chi-Yu, and last but not least, the Weakness Policy Dragonite. Their team has some really bad weaknesses that if we are able to expose them, we could win this. So let's just see how it goes. Let's hop right into the battle with... Hopefully I am able to pronounce this opponent's name, because the last couple I have not been able to. Maybe it is the time of day that I'm playing, but again, yes, there's no chance that I'm able to pronounce their names, unfortunately. But they do start with the Tinkaton, which is very interesting for us, because obviously we have some very super effective moves for this thing. We also life orb, so we do need to watch out for that. We find out that the Tinkaton does have an air balloon, but we decide to go for the Quiver Dance just to get those stats up. I think that's the best thing to do with the Volcarona, as they decide to Terastallize. What typing will this Tinkaton be? Let's have a look. It is Water type. Now that is a great Terra type for a Tinkaton, considering that Fire types do a lot of damage to this thing, and it can't do a lot of damage to Fire types unless it has the water type move. I'm not too sure if Tinkaton can learn a water type move. That would be pretty good for it, shifting the opposition, I guess. But we do get the Quiver Dance up with the special attack raised and the speed. We then decide to Terastallize ourselves and go for a Bug Buzz, a Stab Bug Buzz. We don't actually Terastallize and go for a Bug Buzz. I did press it. I must have thought maybe not the best idea, considering this thing is now a water type, but it does Thunder Wave us, again negating our speed increase from the Quiver Dance. So now we are back down to what we were at and then some, but we do have the special attack boost, which is good, which is very, very good indeed. So they decide to withdraw the Tinkaton, which is interesting, a very interesting move, and they decide to bring out this iron something. I will figure out what its name is at some point. I apologize, I'm not very good at remembering these Paradox Mons names, so you must forgive me for that. Apologies. But we do get a very super effective Psychic off as it goes for the Whirlwind, sending our Volcarona out, which is not good for us because we did have the stat boost, but it's okay. Depending on what comes out next, we could be in a good position. So the Dragonite comes out, which doesn't outspeed this thing, unfortunately, and the stones get dug into our Dragonite. We now know that this is holding a Black Sludge, which is not good for us. It's basically the leftovers for poison type Pokemon, so we need to do something quick, and we need to do it now, really. What we do is go for the extreme speed, I believe it was. I didn't quite catch that as I was mumbling on about this this mon here, but it does withdraw. The opponent does withdraw, and who are they going to go out into next? Let's have a look. They decide to go out into the Roshen, which is very defensive. So we decide to go for a Dragon Dance. Now this Roshen can be a problem depending on what it has, but having a Dragon Danced Dragonite is quite beneficial for us. We do contemplate Terastallizing here, and I'm pretty sure we do actually. Yes, we do. So we Terastallize and go for the Dragon Dance. Now because I haven't played this game in a very long time, I haven't been able to change every Pokemon's Terra type. So I was able to do one, and that was the Dragonite, luckily. So the Dragonite is out, and we change it to a normal type Terra Terastallization, which is pretty common in the meta, I believe. I could be wrong, but I've seen a lot of people do that. So the Woshen decides to go for a Leech Seed, which isn't great, considering that we don't really want to be swapping out right now and don't want to be giving it a lot of health back. So this could prove to be very, very bad for us. We do, however, decide to go for the Stab Extreme Speed. Was this the right decision? Who knows, but the Woshen does go for the Protect. It is ready to stall us down, and it is very capable of doing so. So we are unable to get the hit off, obviously due to the Protect, and it's just whittling us down very, very slowly. Dragonite is not putting in the work that it was supposed to, simply because this Woshen is a absolute wall. We decide to go for the Extreme Speed. How much damage is this going to do? Not very much, considering we are +3, I believe. Is crazy that it's only done that much. So it does get the Giga Drain off, getting some health back, and also the Leech Seed will activate as well as its leftovers, I believe it has. Yeah, so this thing is ready to stall out. That's the Leech Seed getting off, and we are now in the red. It is obviously going to Protect here. That is the best thing that it can do. So I decide I want to keep the Dragonite just in case, and we swap out into the Chi-Yu. So the Chi-Yu does indeed come out against this absolute wall of a Pokemon. And we have a few options here. We are Choice Scarfed, so we need to remember that. So the special defense of the Woshen should be slightly down now because of the Beads of Ruin ability, which is good. But this thing is basically back to full health due to its leftovers and Leech Seed strat. So we are not in the best of positions here. We tried to go for a Stab Flamethrower, but unfortunately the Woshen swaps out into, you guessed it, the water type Tinkaton. So this is basically not going to do a lot if we're honest. But we do get the Flamethrower off. How much will this do? About half of its health that it had. So we then tried to go for a Dark Pulse, but we are Choice Scarf, so we have to go for another Flamethrower. Will this kill? It does. We are very, very fortunate that we got enough damage on that Tinkaton, otherwise we would have been screwed. But now we have our Chi-Yu locked into Flamethrower, so whatever comes out needs to pretty much not be very good against fire types. Unfortunately, there is a fire poison type in front of us. So again, not very effective. Flamethrower doesn't do enough, and this thing goes for a Morning Sun, bringing it to above half health. Plus the Black Sludge, it's not looking good for us right now. We have to swap before this thing starts setting up. I decided to sack off the Dragonite, considering I thought it was going to go for a Fiery Dance. Decided to sack off the Dragonite so I can get a clean switch into our Volcarona. We got killed by the stones. So I completely forgot about the hazards. The hazards are really, really beneficial if you are starting off in competitive. Get yourself a hazard Pokemon. They, as you can see, they're putting toxic spikes all around. It's a great strategy. It really does help whittle their team down. And I'm not saying take advice from me. As you can see, I'm not the best at this game. But from what I have learned so far, hazards are a big, big problem. As you can see, that did a huge amount of damage to Volcarona, considering that rock type is quad effective against this thing. So yeah, it's not looking great for us. It really, really isn't. They've got 2 Mons left, we've got 2 Mons left, but we have one paralyzed and the other hasn't got a lot of health. So this thing decides to go for a Morning Sun, bringing it to full health as we go for the Bug Buzz, which does absolutely nothing. Plus the Life Orb damage that we will take, this thing is not going to be able to be taken down by this Volcarona. So we could be in for a bad game, but we do have that super effective psychic, which we should have gone for first, but we didn't. And unfortunately, the Volcarona goes down to a fiery dance as this thing gets a special attack boost. So I don't know about you, but this does not look good for us. I'm pretty sure this is a loss on our side. I mean, I know what happens, so I'm speaking as if I don't. But the only thing that we can do right now is go for flamethrowers and just hope that it does big damage. But we do get poisoned by the toxic spikes. Just further confirming that we have lost this game, because if we go for a Dark Pulse and the next one is the Roshen, we're not going to be able to take it down with Dark Pulses. Not a chance. But this thing does decide to stall us out. The Chi-Yu does go down to the poison on 2 health, so that was that game. We did okay. It wasn't the best team matchups in my opinion, but it is what it is. We will go again. Let's hop right into the next battle. And we are back with the second battle of this episode. As you can see, XD, our opponent, has a Garchomp, and Roaring Moon, a Garganackle, I think that is, or a Knackle Stack. Again, I need to find out what one that is. I was confused in the first episode about that. A Slowbro, and a Moongus, and a Grimmsnarl. If you guys know about Sword and Shield competitive, you would know that Grimmsnarl was a very big mon to bring during that time period. It's just very, very good for setting up walls and everything. It's very defensive. It can be defensive. It can be... You can use it as an attacker. It's up to you. Grimmsnarl is a very versatile mon. And that's continued over to Scarlet and Violet. Not as much as you would have thought, but it's still very good. But as you can see, we're going up against XD. Who will XD bring? And will they be able to defeat our team? They first start with the Garchomp, as we start with the Tinkaton. Not the best matchup for us, considering that a Stab Earthquake would probably take Tinkaton out, but we do have the Air Balloon. So with the Air Balloon, we do decide to go for a Play Rough. There was an opportunity to Terrestrialize, and probably if we Terrestrialize, we would knock this thing out straight away. But our opponent doesn't know that we have the Air Balloon and decides to go for an Earthquake, which is unfortunate on their part. Maybe a bit of throw-in from them, but we are going to take it. We decide, you know, we're taking chances this time. So unfortunately, the Rough Skin does hit us. That doesn't get rid of our Air Balloon. Sorry, I couldn't speak there. It doesn't get rid of our Air Balloon just yet. So we decide to go for yet another Play Rough as they withdraw their Garchomp. Now, what are they going to go into? Their reliable partner, Garganackle. Interesting. So the Play Rough doesn't do a lot. And I misclick. I was spamming A, and I remember it very clearly. I was like, wow, this is going to come back to bite me. But I was misclicking. I literally was spamming A, and we went for another Play Rough. So this thing is free to get another hit off on us, whilst we do next to nothing damage with the Play Rough. So what is it going to go for? We go for the Play Rough. What is the Garganackle going to go for? It goes for the Body Press, which does a huge amount of damage. It's neutral, and the Air Balloon is now popped. So yeah, we go for the super effective Gigaton Hammer. How much is that going to do against the Garganackle? Just into the red as it goes for a Body Press, and we live on 6. Again, you can see I was spamming A, and luckily Gigaton Hammer cannot be used twice in a row, so we decided to go for the knockoff, and the Garganackle is down. That is a huge threat out of the way. We knocked off the zoom lens, doesn't matter. The thing is dead. So right now we're looking pretty good. We know we outspeed the Garchomp, which is good. Or do we? Now I can't remember. But we decided to go for the Play Rough. Our Air Balloon is no longer active, so I'm pretty sure the Garchomp outspeeds us. It does. It goes for the Dig, which is a 2-turn move. As we go for the Play Rough, obviously don't hit it, and now we have to wait for the next turn. If we had a flying type, that would be very useful right now, wouldn't it? Turns out we do indeed have a flying type in Dragonite, so that comes out as the Dig is about to come and do nothing. It cannot hit this thing as it's in the air, which is again very unfortunate. I'm not sure why this Garchomp didn't have Earthquake. Dig is definitely a very strange move to have. on this thing, but we decided to terrestrialize and go for the Dragon Dance, as we can probably predict a Dragon type move coming towards us, which would be super effective. But if we terrestrialize into a normal type, it will obviously not be super effective, whereas we will be able to do super effective damage to it. I'm very bad at explaining that, but you get what I mean. So we terrestrialize into a normal type with our Dragonite as this next part of the game plays out. I do enjoy this Dragonite. It's definitely come back into like play recently. I don't know if it was very good in the past in competitive. I'm sure it is, because Dragonite is really good. But as you saw there, the Garchomp did huge damage with Outrage, but is now locked into that, which is a good thing for us. We now outspeed, or should outspeed, with our Dragonite, so we are able to go for a nice little... Well, actually, we're checking the team. We're checking the team just in case, for some reason. But we decided to go for an Outrage. Now, we know, because of Garchomp's rough skin, that we will go down here too, so it is a trade of dragons. Garchomp gets the rough skin off on us, and we managed to knock the Garchomp out. So that is 2 dragons down. It is now down to a 2v1. Things are looking good for us in the second game of this episode. Everything is going right. We know what we're doing. We're very confident. Tinkaton isn't looking too healthy, but it's okay. We decide to send out the Iron Bundle against the Grimmsnarl. Now, as I was saying earlier, Grimmsnarl is a good mon to start off with to set up screens and hazards, whatever you want to do. It also has the Prankster ability, which can be a proper nuisance when trying to get stuff like this out off the field. But we decide to go for a taunt just in case it does try to set up screens, which could really hurt us in the long run. We may be 2-1 up, but there's still a big potential for this thing to set up and allow us not to win. So it does go for the Play Rough, which I wasn't expecting. It takes us down to 76 HP, but we decide to retaliate with swapping. Are we going to swap? I don't know. Let's have a look. I'm checking something. I don't know what exactly I'm checking. Maybe speed? But we decide to go for the Hydro Pump. This thing is taunted now, so it definitely can't go for any screens, but we do miss the Hydro Pump. And at this point, I thought this could be game over. This could be game over. We decide to chance it again with another Hydro Pump. Will we connect with this one, though? Hopefully we do, because we played well this game. We played very well. Bearing in mind, yes, there might have been some hard matchups for him or our opponent, but you know, the game is the game. You can't fault that. So as we wait for our opponent to pick a move, hoping and praying that this Hydro Pump will connect and hopefully either take it out or do huge damage, just so that Tinkaton can come out and end the game for good. But our opponent is taking their time with their move selection. We do connect with the Hydro Pump, and it takes it down to the orange, which is brilliant, and then it retaliates with a Play Rough, killing our Iron Bundle. So now the taunt is gone. Tinkaton is coming out with 6 HP. Will we be able to scavenge this win? Tinkaton with the Mold Breaker ability, can it take out the Grimmsnarl before it does anything to it? Let's see. Is this game set and match? We go for the Gigaton Hammer, outspeeding the Grimmsnarl, winning the game for our team. Let's go. We won the second match of this episode. We won something, which is good. This is our first win of Season 7. We're doing good. And yeah, that was it. That was it for that session. I hope you guys enjoyed. Please be sure to leave a like and subscribe if you did. And I will see you in the next episode of the Road to Glory Master Ball Rank. Bye!